Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Bunch of Nuts podcast. I'm Dan, here with Big Cass. Uh, I think really everyone's really excited because obviously Ohio State beat Rutgers. That's what we're really excited about. Nothing else, Cass. Tanner
Holden
Holden.
went to the bank. I didn't know they were open this late. Did you?
I no, I mean, yeah, it's outside. It's outside of banking hours on a Thursday for sure. Usually that deposit's probably going to hit 9 a.m. tomorrow. I thought the way that was going to end up, I thought Justice Sewing was going to get the ball and just brick a shot. When I saw it go up to for a second, I thought it was Justice Sewing. I was like, oh God, this is not going in. And then Tanner Holden drilled it it was perfect. I have no complaints. That was a pleasant surprise today. It really was.
It's Big Ten basketball at its finest. We're right now the Big Ten's prime is in prime position for only one team to make it to the Final Four or Elite Eight. They're going to get 9 teams in, but only one's going to make the Elite Eight. We're in that prime position right now. There's no easy game in the Big Ten in basketball.
What I love too, it's the Big Ten.
Yeah.
The Big Ten is a better, people say the Big Ten is the best basketball conference, and I feel like our teams never make it past the Sweet 16
because they pound on each other.
But great kind of segue is Ohio State and Michigan get in the playoff. So two Big Ten teams in the playoff, in the Final Four for football. We'll be lucky to have one in the Final Four for basketball,
if that. I mean, if you look at the basketball real quick, you had Northwestern beat Michigan State this week. You had Rutgers trounce Indiana. It seems like going on the road in the Big Ten, no matter who you play, is going to be tough. When the fact that right now projecting Minnesota is the worst team in the Big Ten, and we always have Fitz up there playing at the barn. So, buckle. I said this. It is another segue. Buckle your chin straps. Let's go, because we got the Georgia Bulldogs coming December 31st.
Yeah. So obviously the big part of the show, Ohio State did it. They got in. I am pleasantly happy to announce that the reverse jinx parlay worked beautifully, Cass. USC never really stood a chance. It was close in the first half. I was getting a little worried when they went down and scored. And then Caleb Williams just got hurt kind of out of nowhere. And just, watching that game Friday night, it was great. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I was probably more excited for that game than any other game, maybe outside the Penn State game this year, with how that went. Because I was cheering my heart out. Because I knew if USC lost that, we were in. And it was, extra security the next day watching TCU lose. When TCU lost, I was like, okay, now we're 100% in. I was not worried about Bama jumping us. I was maybe thinking that they were going to put Bama in over TCU. I thought that was a possibility.
I didn't think so at all. I think as soon as USC lost, I knew the Buckeyes were in. Get ready for the Peach Bowl. I knew we were going to get the 4 seed no matter what. No matter what. I didn't think the committee was going to put Ohio State versus Michigan in the semifinals. And we'll preview the Peach Bowl here in a couple weeks, but I like the matchups. I really do, because if you look at it, I think TCU matches up against Michigan very well. I think that game's going to be a lot closer than what people think. And I think the Buckeyes match up against Georgia very well. I really do. I think Ohio State matches up against Georgia better than they do against TCU and Michigan. That's just my honest opinion.
I agree, because I think they do match up against Georgia well. We'll obviously break this down more. I don't think Georgia has an elite running back on the roster for the most part. They have a couple just average SEC guys.
Here's what they've got. They have
the tight ends.
They have Mackey Award tight ends. They have a game managing quarterback that's older than dirt and smells like old guy because his name's Stetson. And they have an elite defense. That's what they have. They don't have a running back, like you said, that's going to take the top off. I mean, not take the top off, but that's going to be. They have a good running back, but they don't have that running back like they used to with Todd Gurley and
Donovan
Nick
Edwards
Chubb
isn't suiting up for them. That guy is a freak.
or Blake Corum.
Yeah, like those guys are freaks. They're like man childs, those guys. Like Donovan Edwards is a man child. Like, especially watch him over the weekend. He's a problem. The Georgia running backs don't really scare me. Stetson, I mean, he's experienced and stuff, but I don't think what really hurt us with McCarthy was how mobile he was. Like, Stetson's mobile, but McCarthy was taking like 20-yard drops and eluding pressure and throwing dimes. I don't see Stetson doing that. If Stetson beats us like that, then we deserve to lose, in my opinion.
I look at it this way. I mean, it's the tight ends. You look at down there, and then our offense against their defense. Obviously we'll get more into that later. So
I think it comes down to, does their offensive line push our defensive line? I think that's going to really determine if our defensive line can stand up to their offensive line. I think we win the game. I will say this.
And if our offensive line can push their defensive line.
Yeah. And I will say this too. I think we need to have, I know people have been posting this on Twitter, but I texted you this. I think this might be a game where we might have to play Sonny Styles and get him ready. Because athletically, he's a guy who, with those big tight ends, you need a guy like Sonny Styles, like a safety hybrid, like a linebacker safety hybrid who can cover them, get down in the run game. This might be a Sonny Styles breakout game. Potentially, he might come in certain packages and make some plays. I can see Proctor being a factor. I can see, honestly, Ransom being a factor. I can see all our guys, all our safeties. Really, this is a good matchup for them.
This is just, in my opinion, Iowa's offense on steroids.
Yep. Yeah. That's a great point. I mean, people are saying
obviously, I'm not comparing Iowa offense versus. It's just. They run Iowa's style of offense with a lot better athletes. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yes, absolutely. Way better athletes and way better coached.
Yes.
They run Iowa's offense if it was like fully maximized.
Right. That's what I meant.
No, absolutely.
And I think I know this is a awards thing. Let's go to the other side. Michigan, TCU. I think Max Duggan won him the Heisman last week, even though they lost. I think Max Duggan's going to walk because he won the Davy O'Brien tonight. I think he hosts that trophy. There's just that part of me that thinks he's going to host the Heisman Trophy. I think TCU will be able to move the ball against Michigan. It's just, can their defense stop Michigan? That's going to be the key of that game.
The Heisman's going to be interesting because there's no clear winner. I think
it's going to be Duggan.
I think it's going to be Caleb Williams. When I just watching him, I know he lost, but watching him like play his heart out and everything, injured. He is the favorite right now. Max Duggan is the second.
Hell, CJ Stroud could still win it. He was the most consistent quarterback all year.
No one really ran away with it and took it. The problem is all the voters voted before the games. I feel like
that's why I think CJ Stroud will finish second.
I could see that. I think he'll finish second. I think it's going to be Caleb. I see Duggan honestly finishing third. I think Stetson will fourth.
I don't think Stetson finishes fourth. I think voters voted Corum or Hendon Hooker higher than Stetson Bennett.
Which it's a travesty that Hendon Hooker didn't get invited.
I think it's a travesty if Blake Corum didn't get it.
I agree. It blows my mind that Hendon Hooker didn't get in there because I know he hurt his. He tore his 5
guys last year. Kenny Pickett, C.J. Stroud,
Aiden Hutchinson, Bryce Young,
and there was somebody else. I thought. No, there was 4.
No, because Kenneth Walker was.
He was not there.
I think he was 5th, but he didn't get invited.
Didn't
I think that was the big.
But
I think I think Hendon Hooker not getting invited over Walker is more of a travesty, believe it or not.
I mean, over Corum?
No, just like comparing to like who got snubbed more. I would say Hooker not getting the invite over like Kenneth Walker, I think is way worse in my opinion.
You know who got snubbed? Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yes, he did.
Put on the film. I mean, I like Hyatt. He's obviously both guys are deserving of the award.
Yes,
it's really hard to justify, but you went by stats.
They did
instead of physical tape. Marvin Harrison's a better wide receiver.
Jordan, the same thing happened last year. Jordan Addison was not the best receiver in football. He just had the stats. This year, Hyatt, like I tweeted out, and like Tennessee fans were all up in my mention. And it's like, relax, guys. I think I'm like one of the biggest proponents for Tennessee football outside of you guys. So like, just chill out. Like they don't even realize like I'm the Joe Milton Heisman like bandwagon leader. So just chill out. But if you take away the Bama game, like all of Hyatt's production was in the game. And I know you can't cherry pick games, but
speaking of Heisman real quick, the top 10 finalists just came out. Okay. Okay. Number 10, Drake May. Number 9, Bijan Robinson. Number 8, Michael Penix Jr.
I like that. That's fair.
Number 7, Blake Corum.
He only got 7?
Yeah. Bryce Young, 6.
That's ridiculous.
Hendon Hooker, 5. And then Stetson Bennett, Axe Duggan, CJ Stroud, Caleb Williams.
I think it should be Bijan 10, Bryce Young 9, Drake May 8.
I have Corum 6.
Corum 6.
Hendon Hooker 7. Oh no, Hendon Hooker 5.
I would have Hendon Hooker at least 5, and then
you know what? Honestly, here's how my top 10 go. I have the top 4. You know, the top three. CJ, Max Duggan, Caleb. I have number 4. I have number 4, Hendon Hooker. 5, Blake Corum. 6, I have Bryce Young, just because he's defending national champion, defending Heisman winner, and he had a great season. 7,
I think 7, Michael Penix should be. Michael Penix, man, he's returning next year.
Just put it this way: Stetson Bennett would be 10 on my list.
Yeah, Michael Penix returning next year. Watch out, because that guy, like, if I'm not saying like you should watch nonstop Washington football, but if you had a chance to watch some Pac-12 after dark and got to treat yourself to some Washington football, he's made some of the most ridiculous throws this season. He really has.
Him and Drake May will be 1 and 2 because all those other guys gone. I think.
No, I agree, and it's. I honestly wonder.
Penix Jr. and who did I say? Oh, Drake May.
I honestly wonder. I honestly wonder how like a Michael Penix would do in a Ryan Day offense, because like he has a beautiful arm, and it's like he obviously was he wasn't as refined at Indiana. He was just kind of an athlete, a leader, making plays, carrying them, and then he obviously got hurt, and then he fell off a little bit. But now if you watch him, like Cass, he might be QB1 next draft. Like I am so high on Michael Penix Jr.
Would Marvin Harrison Jr. be top 5 on the Heisman finalist list next year?
He should be.
Well, preseason, yeah.
He should be. It's I don't know though, because like it's one injury and he could, one injury and he misses the entire season. Like
I'm talking about preseason.
Yeah, I would say top 10.
I think he's top 5.
I'll give him top 10. But it's so hard to say.
Quinn Ewers would be top 4 or 5.
Yeah, they'll probably put Ewers, I would say 2 or 3, just because they're going to have that preseason
hype. Penix Jr. and May are going to be 1 and 2.
I think the best value you get is Joe Milton. You're going to get plus
He's gone. He's going to be gone.
No. He's got 1 more year.
I thought he was a senior this year.
No, he's got 1 more year. Yeah, he's got 1 more year. He's going to be the new Hendon Hooker because he's going to be 25 or
He's
whatever.
gonna be
He's gonna be
Stetson
really,
Bennett.
yeah. But I
Same
mean,
age as Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson.
that's what I'm saying though. But he's had 3 years to learn this offense. He has all the intangibles cast. He's got the arm. He's got the legs.
He'll
He
have
just
Jordan
needs to.
Hyatt back.
He just needs to refine it. If they just refine it a little bit, like he just masters it, I'm telling you, he is the Heisman winner.
I don't think so. Tennessee might get hit hard with the McDonald's bag. So all right. Our bowl game mania is up. If you haven't signed up, please do. First and last name. Thank you for everybody so far have listened. I mean, I was looking at the group the other day, and majority of the people have, you can see their last name at least, and we can recognize who they are.
Mm-hmm.
So we do thank you. That link will be shared up every week until the bowl games start. Please sign up. We haven't decided what the prizes will be, but I'm sure it will probably be the same thing as last year.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. It's usually either a StubHub gift card or some type of ticket.
Fanatics.
Yeah, or some type of
a lot of people like the Fanatics stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So far we have 1, 2. Well, ignore mine. Mine's just in there just to follow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6.
It usually grows though the closer we get. We still have the first bowl game is next week, the 16th or 17th, and it's the 8th. So we got over a week easily. But we'll post it out. We'll post a link out and stuff. It's a tradition. Real quick, Cass, what are your thoughts on the JSN situation? Like him obviously leaving.
I mean, I look at it this way. No one knows the true story besides JSN and Ryan Day and Ohio State. It's all speculation. Todd McShay out there mouthing off, and then you got Jackson Smith and Jigba's family back in, on Twitter, his mom, his dad, and his brother back in Jackson Smith and Jigba. I look at it this way. It would have been nice to have him in the playoffs. It really would have.
I agree.
But he is a man. He is human. He's been hurt all season. We haven't needed him all season. I mean, we probably needed him in some games, but he hasn't played. The game that he did play, the timing was so off until he went out of the game, and then Stroud just went off Iowa, if you remember. I look at it this way: we hadn't had him all year. It would have been nice, but I respect the dude. He greatest wide receiver play in the Rose Bowl ever. All hailed Jackson Smith and Jigba. Thank you for what you did on the field. I don't know the true story, and I really don't care. I agree. Go chase your dream. Go chase your dream.
I have mixed emotions because I'm frustrated. I'm not frustrated at him. I'm more frustrated at Ryan Day, I guess. The way he kind of handled it, the way how he wouldn't really give us a straight answer, how he kind of I don't know if he forced him to play in the Iowa game, but obviously had him out there when he clearly wasn't right. Maybe if he waited an extra week or two, he would have been healthy. I feel like it was just mismanaged, I guess, is what I'm saying.
I kind of feel where you're coming from there.
And look, everyone's saying that obviously, he hasn't been on campus for the last month. So look, if you're going to make millions of dollars and stuff, I don't blame you at all. That's fine. It's a weird point, I think, right now in the NIL area too, where it's I feel bad for the kid, but I also don't. And I hate to sound unempathetic because it's you're going to make millions of dollars. You've probably made millions of dollars. You got the new car from Rick Riker. You had a free education. I don't feel bad. The
only thing I feel bad for him about is he didn't get to finish his career with his brothers.
Exactly. It's I'm selfish too in the point where it's I want him out there, even if he's a decoy. But I guess the best case scenario is Jalen Waddle year in the national championship. But that was tough to watch. The guy was really running with one leg. Yeah. His ankle wasn't right, and that was tough to watch. So
I look at it this way. I mean, he could be teamed up with Justin Fields. So
exactly. And I mean, we don't need him we don't need him. We didn't need Braxton Miller or JT Barrett when we beat Bama and won the national championship. We can do this. We have the weapons. We have obviously Marvin Harrison Jr.,
it's up here.
Emeka Ibuka, and then Julian Fleming, who's burst onto the scene. I think all three of those guys are really hungry.
It's
I
up
can
here.
see it. Exactly. It really is. It might be a blessing, honestly, if he's not there, because it's gonna make the team lock in and take it seriously. If he was there, it might have been, they might be more lax, I guess. But without him, I think it might kind of change the dynamic where it's like, okay, no, we need to go, like a guy like Fleming and Ibuka, like they have to go. They like JSN's not coming. It's your time. You guys need to step up.
I mean, you didn't get Jaden Ballard who could step up. I mean, I look at it. I look at it this way: don't trash the kid for making a decision that he wants to do to make his dream. I get the frustration as a Buckeye fan. We lost to Michigan. We backed into the playoffs. We would like to have our best player out there all season, but for Buckeye fans to sit and call him a quitter or call him other things that I prefer not to say on air. What are you doing?
I will say I am concerned. I'm not saying he's a quitter, but I am concerned about his draft stock. Because the NFL scouts, they're ruthless. And they like to Buckeyes sometimes slide for no reason. I just don't want. I'm more worried that that could happen to him, because obviously he might not. He was never a guy that was going to test off the charts at the combine. We always know that, though. He was never like a 4.2 guy. He might be like a 4.5, maybe 4.6 potentially. Maybe he runs a little faster than that. Who knows?
By the way, keep going.
And that just concerns me. And then obviously with the injury and then the lack of tape this year, I would just hate to see him go pro and not be a first round.
That's why I like the fact that he's done. He could focus on his draft, go to the combine, and light some things up. Because his ball skill at the combine is going to be off the charts.
I agree. And there's just no worse feeling when you see a guy who's super talented, and it's like if they came back 1 year, they would have got more money or so. Like I think of a guy in basketball, like LaQuinton Ross, when he declared a year early and just didn't even get drafted. Obviously not the same type of situation because JSN was projected as the top receiver, but it's just that's where I kind of get stressed as a fan, because I want the best for a guy like him, and I would just hate to see him, not get the better end of it.
All right. The Walter Camp All-American list came out, the most important All-American list.
Let's hear it.
First team All-American, all for the Buckeyes, Marvin Harrison Jr. and Paris Johnson Jr. Congratulations, you guys are getting a tree in Buckeye Grove.
That's awesome.
Second team All-American, CJ Stroud and Tommy Eichenberg.
Poor Tommy.
He's got one more year of eligibility.
He was so close to that tree. So close.
He's going to get it. 2023 season, he's going to get it.
But, I mean, shout out Tommy Eichenberg, because just the jump from last year to this year, I mean, if you told me Tommy Eichenberg is going to be second team All-American this year, I would have said, sign me up. I mean, that's he should pat himself on the back. That's a fantastic season. I mean, he proved everyone wrong.
My question is, though, which one, I feel the Walter Camp one is the most important. But which one will Jerry and Mig go by? Because DeJuan Jones got first team All-American in CBS, and Paris Johnson Jr. didn't.
Can they go by both?
I don't think DeJuan Jones was All-American worthy this year.
I mean, no, but can they I don't know. That's a great question.
I don't know. I think it's the Walter Camp, though. I really do think it's the Walter Camp, because that's the most important.
I feel like though, CBS, that's reputable. It's not like the Coley Matrix where when UCF won the national championship, that random poll. CBS, Fox, Walter Camp, Pro Football Focus. I feel like those are
Pro
the big
Football
ones.
Focus had Paris Johnson Jr. and I think all of them and unanimously had Marvin Harrison Jr. first team.
Where's Jalen Hyatt, by the way?
First team All American.
Okay.
But somebody made a great post that said, "Oh, Tommy Eichenberg was second team All American, but didn't get invited to a Buckeyes finalist."
It's crazy.
Seems legit to me.
It's ridiculous.
So,
It's ridiculous.
we're gonna run down the bowl games that were selected. There's too many bowl games, man.
I actually have in chronological order, starting with the first one. So December 16th, which is what is that? I feel like this is definitely a Saturday or
it's a Friday.
No, it's a Friday.
I have it on our group, so I can run them down. They have it in order by date and day.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, it's Bahamas Bowl, UAB Miami,
hometown Lenders Bahamas. We gotta say the sponsor, the hometown Lenders Bahamas Bowl. Miami, Ohio, and the UAB Blazers. 6-6, 6-6. UAB's got a new head coach, Trent Dilfer.
That's interesting.
Yeah. The Duluth Trading Underwear Cure Bowl. The number 25. This is 3:00 after the Bahamas Bowl. The UTSA Roadrunners at number 25 in the country versus number 24 Troy Trojans.
That will actually be kind of fun. I think that one. Those are two smaller programs that have had very good years. Obviously UTSA, I believe UTSA and Troy both won their conferences actually.
Yeah.
So that's actually a pretty good game on paper. I like that one.
This one's interesting because the one head coach jumped to the other game. The Wasabi Fenway Bowl in Boston. Two teams are 2 hours apart. Cincinnati Bearcats, Louisville Cardinals.
To add to that too, which is crazy, is because it's in Fenway Park, both teams are on the same sideline. So the joke is Louisville's former coach who's now at Cincinnati. There's gonna be say stand in the middle because there's like a little like no man's area, and they're just have him stand in the middle and coach both teams.
Wear a Louisville hat with a Cincinnati Bearcats.
What do you think? I feel like there's a good chance there might be a fight that game for some reason, just because.
And there's a good chance. I don't even think he's coaching in that game, is he?
I don't. That's a weird one for sure. That I feel like if he is coaching, there might be a chance there might be a fight or something. Because if you're losing a coach and then he's coaching with the other team, there's definitely might be some emotions there.
I dig it. All right, the Cricket Celebration Bowl, Jackson State Tigers without Deion Sanders versus the North Carolina Central Eagles. It's not an actual bowl game. It's just two FCS programs playing.
That's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
But all right.
The SR Saturday at 2:30, the SRS Distribution Las Vegas Bowl. The Florida Gators against 14th ranked Oregon State Beavers.
I mean, that's a game where Florida should absolutely smack Oregon State, but Oregon State has had a really good year this year. So that's an interesting one. I think that one could be a game
and Jack
where
Miller is starting for the Gators.
Yeah, that one could be a really fun game. I mean, there's some really good bowl games. That one's definitely a fun bowl game to watch that Saturday. I would say probably that's probably the game of the day actually. Now I'm kind of looking at it.
Yeah, because at 3:30, Jimmy Kimmel, LA Bowl. Washington State Cougars against the Fresno State Bulldogs.
This is where the national championship's going to be.
Yeah.
So I mean, keep an eye on this one. They're going to test out the field, and we're going to see how the field kind of works with the college game. Obviously, the NFL games get played there all the time. It's going to be interesting to see how college players play there.
The Lending Tree Bowl, Rice at 5-7. Against 6-6 Southern Miss. Nobody cares.
Literally, no. I'm not even going to watch that one.
One of my favorite bowl games,
It is.
the New Mexico Bowl, the SMU Mustangs versus the BYU Cougars. Kind of like it. All right, what used to be called the New Orleans Bowl, I believe, is now called the Frisco Bowl. I might be wrong, by the way.
North Texas, who is interested in Nick Saban, Ryan Day, Kirby Smart, Dabo Sweeney, Urban Meyer, Lou Holtz for their next head coach. Like, they're interested in everyone. Yeah, I like they. It's crazy because they're actually in a decent bowl game, and they had a good season, and they just fired their coach, and then they just put out a statement that they're literally trying to just pull like a big time coach, and it's like, I don't think that's gonna happen. Grass ain't always green or mean green.
The Myrtle Beach Bowl.
I love this one. This one's gonna be fun.
Marshall versus UConn.
Which UConn making a bowl game's insane, but Jim Mora's done a great job. That one's gonna be a fun one though, because it's like Marshall, kind of, you know, historic maybe not historic, but
they're historic.
You can say historic.
They're a historical MAC Conference USA.
Yeah,
they didn't just make a movie; it was an actual factual story.
Yeah, I guess I'll say historic Marshall versus just like the rebound, the I can't even speak, the UConn Huskies, who are like on a redemption tour. It's a true redemption tour. Like, they were the worst team for the past couple of years.
They're not even good at basketball anymore, besides women's.
No.
Here's a next
one. This one's a good one. The famous Idaho Potato Bowl, Eastern Michigan, San Jose State.
It'll be a good game.
I was watching with Bree the conference championship game with Boise State and I forgot who they lost
Fresno
to.
State.
Fresno State. Yeah, Fresno State. And Bree was like, why do they have blue turf? And I'm like, I don't know. And then I explained to her that like sometimes though I heard that like they have problems with birds coming and like flying on the field. And she's like, oh, absolutely never going to a game there. I was like, okay, well, like, I did not have Boise on my list to begin with, but sure thing.
The roofclaim.com Boca Raton Bowl, Toledo versus Liberty.
This is a game where, like, that Tuesday night 7:30 bowl game, the week before Christmas, this is going to be a good one. For some reason, this game is always competitive. I don't know why. And Liberty's obviously a pretty good program. And then they're getting Jamie Chadwell. And then Toledo, Daquan Finn, like my boy, MAC champs, which Ohio State isn't going to get credit for, that we beat the MAC champs. I mean, we will never get credit for that, but I just want to say Ohio State did beat them. That's going to be a fun one.
And I was wrong, by the way. The R&L carries New Orleans Bowl, Western Kentucky versus South Alabama. Don't even know.
Who cares
about this.
Wednesday? Why is this a 9:00 game on a Wednesday? It's the only game that day too.
No, it's not. Yeah, it is. You're right. All right.
It makes no sense.
I thought this said the Lockheed Monster, but I'm not. It's wrong.
Lockheed
Martin Armed Forces Bowl, Air Force versus Baylor.
I love how they always have a military team in this.
Yeah. The Radiance Technologies Independence Bowl, Houston versus the Raging Cajuns. Nobody cares.
No.
The Union Mortgage Gasparilla Bowl. By the way, on my list, because I'm looking off my list, I picked Wake Forest because Missouri ducked Kansas.
Mm.
So I went with Wake Forest because I hope Missouri gets thrashed because they ducked Kansas.
I agree. I mean, that's a fair point.
The Easy Post Hawaii Bowl does not feature Hawaii. It's San Diego State Aztecs versus the Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders.
Yeah, Hawaii just didn't get it done this year, unfortunately. Not a good season for the Rainbow Warriors, man. That's tough, but Yeah, my one critique about this bowl is just I just wish they just put better teams in this one because this bowl
It's New
game has
Year's
a
Eve. It's
chance to.
Christmas Eve.
That's what I'm saying.
I
Everyone's
want.
with their
Hey,
family.
I watched Notre Dame play Hawaii in that game one year. Jimmy Clausen, baby.
That's that's good though. I would watch that. Like I don't want to
It
watch
was
these random teams.
it was Jimmy Clausen versus the kid that Colt Brennan the year before Colt Brennan set all those records.
That's a good game though. That's a
Yeah,
really
it
good
was a
game.
good game. Notre Dame
That's what I'm
won, but
saying. We need that. We don't need Middle Tennessee, San Diego State. I'm just not.
why could you have San Diego State play like Wisconsin or
I think it should have been Kansas and Kansas Boise State. There you go.
what about Kansas San Diego State
Yeah,
or someone from the Pac-12? Like you could have put Oregon State in this game.
I agree.
Like make Middle Tennessee State play Florida in the stupid.
Put put Florida, Oregon State in that. That's a great game.
Like
You
you could
put that game in Hawaii. I'm watching that.
like put Middle Tennessee State in the Las Vegas Bowl with Florida. Yeah, like come on, you could have done better in the Hawaii Bowl. All right, the Quick Lane Bowl, Bowling Green and New Mexico State. Nobody cares.
Nope.
The
It's in
Camilla,
Detroit too. That's
the,
gonna be a sad one.
yeah, the Camilla Bowl. Yeah, Bowling Green's like an hour away from Detroit too.
But also, too, that's a game. That's like 2 o'clock the day after Christmas. No one's gonna be like. That's gonna be a weird one where it's like you just turn on the TV and that one's on. Like you're not even gonna
I
be
remember
looking for football.
watching. I remember watching Maryland play Central Michigan one year, and I had it on, but I was helping my niece build this huge superhero girl, like the superhero girls castle thing. And I just happened to look up, I'm like, oh, Maryland and Central Michigan are playing. The Camellia Bowl, Buffalo Bulls, Georgia Southern Eagles. Nobody cares.
I mean, I'm not. Yeah, sorry guys. Just that's one that I just can't get excited for.
The Surf Pro. This is Tuesday at 3:15, the 27th. The Surf Pro First Responder Bowl, Memphis versus Utah State. Nobody cares.
That one's better.
I like this one, the next one. Why had this game played at Myrtle Beach? This game should be played at Myrtle Beach. I'm sorry. Ticket Smarter Birmingham Bowl. Like, why do you have two Carolina teams going to Birmingham, Alabama, Coastal Carolina versus East Carolina Pirates? Like, why do you have two Carolina teams playing Birmingham?
It would honestly make more sense to put Marshall UConn in that one too.
Right.
I agree. That makes sense, Cass. But like we don't make these decisions. It's fine.
All right, the Guaranteed Rate Bowl. Nobody's going to care about this one. Well, I guess maybe it's 10:15 at night on a Tuesday. I won't be awake for it. Wisconsin, Oklahoma State.
I'm absolutely gonna watch that one.
Boy, you talk about two teams that were ranked in the top 15 at the beginning of the year.
That's gonna be an interesting one because it looks good on paper. It won't be a good game. I think one team it will be lopsided. I don't know which team's gonna win, but it's just gonna be lopsided. But I'm gonna watch it because it's a Tuesday, 10:15. Nothing else going on. It's two big programs, so like I give that one a B plus. But the game itself is like on paper it's a B plus, but the game itself is not going to be good.
The Military Bowl, UCF versus Duke.
The only military tie they have is just Coach K coached at Army. Like that's
all right. AutoZone Liberty Bowl. I used to love this game. Kansas Jayhawks versus Arkansas. Why do I feel
Kansas versus Arkansas?
Like, why do I feel intrigued to watch this game?
Because you should be. This is actually a fun. This is a really good one, actually, Cass.
No.
I think. I mean, 5:30 on a Wednesday. I'm gonna be actually just when this game kicks off. I'm gonna be logging out of work because I'll be off from Thursday to like Tuesday. I have like a 6-day week vacation. That's going to be a nice way to enter the weekend. That's going to be a fun one.
I think the next one's going to be a lot of fun.
Kansas is absolutely going to bring it too for that. That's going to be a game where like Arkansas isn't thrilled that they're playing in this because their season obviously has been a disappointment, but Kansas is going to be ready. So Arkansas is probably going to have to fight back a little bit. So I expect that one to be a good one. Expect basically to be like a big brother, little brother game where like Arkansas doesn't really want to win. Like they don't really care, but Kansas, like they're gonna try their hardest, and it's actually gonna be a good battle, I think.
I think this would be the best non-New Year's Six bowl game right here. The San Diego County Credit Union Holiday Bowl, Oregon and North Carolina. I think game is going to be a barn burner, man. I cannot wait to watch this game.
Yeah, no, that's a nice nightcap, like on Wednesday too, like sitting down.
Over under. I'm going 100 points for the over. I think a lot of points can be scored.
No def. I mean, they're gonna. I'm gonna call at least one or two trick plays. One and over 1.5 trick plays.
Gus Johnson and Joel Klatt called their last game of the year with two high-powered offenses.
That's a banger. That's a
banger.
I love it. This one will also be, I think, kind of high scoring. The Texas Bowl, the Tax Act Texas Bowl, Texas Tech Ole Miss. I would say over.
It's gonna be a fun one.
I would say over 60 points in this one.
Yeah, on the same time. Wow, you'd be flipping back and forth.
Yeah. Which I hate how they don't stagger these better sometimes, man. It's like, how do we go from having like just nothing on like a Tuesday or like one game on a Tuesday and Wednesday, and then we have like all these great games back to back for like a week?
Why couldn't you have? Well, actually, I mean, from the 27th on, there's some pretty decent games. So, the Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl, Thursday, Minnesota versus Syracuse. Nobody cares.
Yeah, that one. I mean, that one. It's going to be all Syracuse fans too, because it's in New York, so that's a Syracuse home game.
I like the Noles and Oklahoma Sooners in the Cheez-It Bowl. That'd be a fun one.
Wait. Oh, I'm an idiot. I thought the Guaranteed Rate Bowl was Oklahoma, not Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
Oh, the Sooners actually got put in, I think, in a way higher bowl than they should have been. Yeah, the Cheez-It Bowl, Oklahoma, Florida State. That's actually a really fun one.
And I think this one, number 2 on my list for best games, Washington versus Texas in the Alamo Bowl.
Well, the Alamo Bowl is always a banger.
Yeah.
In Texas, obviously, it's going to be, a lot. The Texas contingent's going to be there, but Michael Penix Jr. is going to light them up. I mark my words, like he's going to put on a show.
All right, and then the grossest bowl game, the Duke's Mayo Bowl, Maryland and NC State. Oh, this is a old rivalry renewed.
It is.
This might be a fun one to watch.
I want to see. I want to see Mike Loxley just get dumped with Mayo, like just.
By the way, you need to look up it's from this game about 15, 16 years ago. The best penalty call ever was from this game. Just go to YouTube and look up personal foul on the offense. He was number 69. He was giving him the business.
Oh, yeah.
That's from an NC State Maryland game.
I'm going to schedule a tweet to go out that day of that YouTube clip. I'll make sure to have it ready. Noon, December 30th. He's giving him the business.
Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl. Pitt and UCLA.
You love the New Mexico Bowl. You love the New Mexico Bowl. I love this bowl because it's just pretty, like the way it looks. This is the Desmond Howard Invitational, this bowl.
Why?
Because Pitt.
Oh yeah.
It's Desmond's darling Pitt versus UCLA, but that's gonna be a good one. Definitely should be a good
I
one.
thought this was going to be a good one. Until Michael Mayer and a couple others from Notre Dame are opting out. But the Taxslayer Gator Bowl, South Carolina versus Notre Dame, I thought that was going to be a good one.
This is the We Beat Clemson Bowl. So
The Barstool Sports Arizona Bowl, the Ohio Bobcats and the Wyoming Cowboys.
if any game's gonna get canceled due to COVID, it's gonna be this one because like people just hate Barstool for no reason. So just keep your eye on that. But I mean, it's not great on paper.
Yeah. All right. Friday, New Year's Six Bowl, first game. Tennessee versus Clemson in the Orange Bowl, Capital One Orange Bowl. It's gonna be a fun one. No
All
Hendon Hooker,
orange.
no Hendon Hooker, no DJ Ungolele, but you got Joe Milton.
Joe Milton versus Klubik or whatever his name is.
All right. The Trans Perfect Music City Bowl. A total of 9 points will be scored in this game. Kentucky and Iowa.
Why is this? Why is this even on? Like, no one's gonna watch
it because they're gonna be watching the All-State Sugar Bowl.
I want to see Kansas State try to take down the Giant. I don't care about
I think
this.
Kansas State will. I don't
They
think
you could make that argument, man.
Yeah.
I mean, one, Alabama is not good in the Sugar Bowl. We know that it's not a good, like, it's not a friendly place to them. Two, Kansas State finished better than Texas, and Texas almost beat Bama. So I mean, you can absolutely make that argument.
Is Bryce Young going to play? These guys going to play? Then
remember, if Bama loses, they weren't motivated.
Yeah,
that's what they're going to say.
College football finalists. We already talked about TCU, Michigan, Ohio State, Georgia, and then the next day. No, because the NFL is on the next day. So Monday, January 2nd, all the New Year's Day bowl games, the Reliquist Bowl, aka the Outback Bowl. Rest in peace, the Outback Bowl. Fighting Illini, Mississippi State. Boy, that's two polar opposite offenses.
It is.
And then the Goodyear Cotton Bowl, Tulane versus USC. Should be a decent one.
I see that's gonna be a fun one. But my one buddy texted me, goes, "This is gonna be the least watched bowl game of all time." But it's like, you're gonna watch it. You're gonna be curious when Tulane's hanging tough.
How's that
on New Year's Day?
How's that possible when the Arizona Bowl is the Ohio Bobcats and the Wyoming Cowboys, or the Trans Perfect Music City Bowl on the same time as Alabama and Kansas State? So
why does Cheez-It get two bowls?
Because the Cheez-It Bowl is now the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl. Purdue and LSU.
Well, no, they have the Cheez-It Bowl and then they have the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl. That doesn't make any sense.
Because it's not your cheese.
I mean, I feel like they need to make the winner of the Cheez-It Bowl and the winner of the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl need to play for the Cheez-It Championship.
And then
you can't have two bowls.
Outside the college football playoff, I think, and it's the last bowl game listed, the Rose Bowl. I can't wait for this one. Penn State, Utah. It's going to be so fun to watch.
Our darling Utah, our darlings, I love them. So many good memes have come out of the game of just obviously Utah beating USC. My favorite one's the Top Gun meme, or the Top Gun Maverick one, where it's like at the end when they're trying to eject and they're about to get shot down, and all of a sudden Hangman comes and shoots down the fifth gen fighter. Except instead it's USC's the fifth gen fighter and Utah's Hangman, and where Tom Cruise and Goose's son in the F-14. Like, I love it. It was the best meme I've seen of obviously us getting in the playoff.
Absolutely. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be so much fun to by the way, Marvin Harrison Jr. did get an award today. The Herbie Award for the catch of the year. The catch versus Indiana.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm shocked he didn't tear his hip there on that catch. The cat's been waiting all show to do that.
Yes, I have. But you know what? We got a lot to talk about. Christmas is coming up. Um, Next week's show is basically going to be basketball before we get into the Peach Bowl. Maybe have our
Basketball and an in-depth breakdown of
the
the
college
Mozzie
football.
Smith situation.
Oh my God. Maybe we'll get Blake back on, talk about the college football playoff next week. And then we'll do a total breakdown of the Peach Bowl. And wow, I'm looking at our schedule, folks. Let's see here. Wow, we got 2 weeks before we do a total breakdown of the Peach Bowl. Actually, Merry Christmas to everybody. We are taking a break the week of Christmas, like the 22nd. We'll be back on the 28th or 29th. We'll drop an episode. Be nothing but Peach Bowl. But our week between the 20th and the 25th of Christmas Day, we will not have a show.
Yeah, go enjoy your family, everyone. Go enjoy what bowl games are on that week.
Every
Go
single
enjoy
one, all of them.
all the mediocre ones. Go enjoy Lockheed Armed Forces Bowl with a little bit of the Ticketmaster Birmingham Bowl, and then obviously finish it off with the Guaranteed Rate Bowl. That's doctor's orders from Dan.
Enjoy some college basketball too.
Yeah. By the way,
we got North Carolina this weekend.
I was about to say, should be interesting. I think we're due. I think that's the one we win. I think that's the one game. I think this is the point of the season where we're going to win this one because we just got the miracle against Rutgers. We're going to win this one. We're going to be, ranked probably top 15 after this, I want to say. And then the slide happens.
How about the women's? Gave up 7 points in the second half today to New Hampshire. They are ranked third in the country, which is the highest ever for the women's team in a long time. They are just flat out balling right now.
Yeah, they're. I mean, by the way, it was hilarious. They at the game today because they had the tournament game, the volleyball or whatever, and Bruce Thornton was there, and there was like 4,000 people in the stands, and they recognized Bruce Thornton.
The cool thing happened today is 4,000 students from the Columbus City League schools got a free ticket to the OSU women's game today.
Yeah.
At 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, whenever that game was, and that's pretty cool. Good job, Ohio State, for that.
No, that's all. Like, if you're a student, like that's the best day ever. Not going to class, going to go to the women's volleyball game, like that's great. That's a great little field trip. But the Bruce Thornton was there, and they were all cheering for him to dunk, and he finally did a dunk for them, which I love that. Which hey, he had the game-winning assist tonight.
And you talk about volleyball, they advanced to the Elite Eight in volleyball today.
Yeah.
Women. So a lot of good stuff happening right now for Ohio State athletics. So we'll get more in depth. Got a show next week, and then we'll be off for Christmas, and then we'll get a New Year's show heading into the Peach Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this: I am watching. When we beat Clemson, I was down south. When we beat Bama, I was down south. I will be watching the Georgia game in South Carolina down south. So I think I like the Buckeyes odds this year. I'm just saying that. Just putting that in the air, Cass.
And it's an even year too.
Someone pointed out, like, I know we are wrapping up, but someone pointed out it is kind of like 2014. Obviously, even year. We're the 4 seed, kind of getting in controversial way. Lost one of our best players. Chip on our shoulder. We're playing the SEC team in their home territory, basically. It really kind of feels like 2014. So we'll see. I am getting that feeling in the air. I don't think, like, I feel like we should lose to Georgia like 9 times out of 10, but I feel like we're not.
We're due.
I don't know
We're due.
why.
We're
It's
due for something great for this year.
and I will say this too. One more thing. People are arguing on 11 Warriors. Just basically someone did some research and basically saying when Ryan Day has like a month to prepare for a game offensively, Ohio State dominates. And then obviously the facts were like, well, what about, the season openers? so, but bowl games are different, obviously. But I
The
mean,
intensity's up.
and they have apparently been prepping for Georgia even prior to them finding out they're playing Georgia. So just something to keep your eye on.
Yeah. All right, man. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the Tar Heels game. Buckeyes versus Tar Heels. That's all I've got.
That's all I got. As always, thanks for listening to the Bunch of Nuts podcast, and go Bucks.
Go Bucks.